What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to day 69 of Autodesk Fusion. Let me get some of those fixed in there. There we go. Alrighty, here's what we're going to do today is we're going to take our Automata box we got so far with our top-down model, and we're going to input our follower rods and hopefully get those assemblies to work kind of as expected. So what we're going to do is we're going to make our follower rod first. Since I really don't need anything else right now, you can inactivate these pieces, but I'm just going to do a sketch off to the side. Actually, let's do a sketch in the correct direction. Let's do a sketch in that top-down direction. Let's do a sketch from the top, and we know that my follower rod is going to have a diameter of 1/4 inch. We're going to hit Finish Sketch. We're going to go ahead and extrude this down. Yeah, 3 inches looks okay. We're going to make that as a new component. Click OK. And then call this component follower rod. Alrighty. Now in here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to fillet the end of this to be rounded off. So what I'm going to do is, as for that radius, we're going to do what the diameter is divided by 2. So that edge is going to be 0.25 divided by 2. And it won't let me do that, so let's do 1.25. I thought I could get away with it, but I couldn't. There we go. I just had to do 0.125 and then call that done. Alrighty, so we got a nice rounded off edge for our follower rod. Now, if your follower rods are all going to be the same length, we can do a little bit of easy, I would say cheese right here, is we're going to hit M on our keyboard. And then what we're going to do is move components. Or sorry, not move components, can move bodies. And then I'm going to click on this. Let's see, actually if I click on components, can I make? I sure can. Let's make copies of our components and see what that does. So we made a second follower rod. Clicks OK. Hey, look, and it already made it a component for us. So let's hit M key again, and let's click on these two right here, and let's make another copy. So will let me do that. I only want you to take one component at a time. So let's just click on that, create a copy, click OK, M, create a copy, OK. So your follower rods may be longer or shorter, kind of depending on what you're dealing with. But we do know is I'm going to highlight all of these and right click, physical material. And that physical material is going to be pine wood. So all of those are going to be made out of the same material. Alrighty, there we go. Next thing we need to do is we need to do some more joint assemblies. So what we're going to do is I'm going to join the edge of my follower rod through the edge here. By default, it's going to be a rigid constraint. We're just going to make that a slider constraint. And that looks okay. Alright, what you can do is if you want to, you can go ahead and mess with this position a little bit. We're just going to bring it just a little bit closer. Let's put it right there. Click OK. Hit J for joint. We're going to join the edge of our follower rod through the edge of that. It's going to be a slider constraint. We can go ahead and just bring it down just a hair. Looking alright. I'm going to very quickly, about the best quickly as I can, go ahead and already get the other two in there as well. Now here's going to be a little bit of an interesting spot is how do we have Fusion talk to the system and get this to work as expected? And so what we're going to do is enable a thing called contact sets. And basically it's a way for me to tell Fusion these pieces cannot go through each other. Once they hit, they're done. And so what we're going to do here is we're going to go under assemblies, we're going to enable contact sets, and I'm going to right click and enable all contact. This means nothing can go through each other. Everything is not considered a physical object. If I were to pull one of these down, it can't do that. As before though, before those contact sets were made, things can kind of go through each other, and we don't like that. So assemble, contact sets, right click, enable all. And that just makes it by default that nothing can go through each other. All right, looks okay. Now what I need to do is go ahead and edit my joint limits, because what happens if right now if I were to turn this, well, the problem is that my follow rods will get pushed up, but they won't come back down. And what we need to do at that point is to make a default rest position. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to zoom out just a little bit, click on that joint, right click, and edit joint limits. And we're going to create a rest for it. Now the rest is, where is it going to be, I would say, as a resting point. It's kind of like where it's going to be. If nothing's pushing it, where's it going to go back to? And I'm going to make that rest point a little farther than I know the cam is going to be. And that way the cam is always pushing it, and the follower rod is always trying to go back to rest, even though it won't ever actually get there. So I'm going to click OK. Now if I rotate this, you notice my circle cam, it just sits there, but it's a circle cam, doesn't do anything, you can't see anything to begin with. So let's edit this one as well. So I'm going to zoom out just a little bit so I can click on that joint, right click, edit joint limits, make a rest, and you can just make a rest of 1 inch, or you can drag it down a little bit. Half inch looks okay. All right, now if I would rotate this, we see now that my rest limit actually wasn't the full length it needed to be. So we need to go back and edit that. Let's try that again. Edit joint limits. Let's just go ahead and make this, 1.25. Click OK. Now let's try rotating this. Hey, would you look at that? Things kind of work as expected. Alrighty, we're going to revert that position, and we're going to do the same thing for the last two joints. We're going to right click, edit joint limits, make a rest, and the hex cam is not going to be moving very far, so we can still make it 1 inch if we really want to, just for consistency's sake and making things easy for us. So I'm going to edit that last one as well. We're going to make that rest. Let's call it 1 inch. For that, we might need 1.25 since it's the snail cam. Click OK. Now, if I've done this correctly, we can go over here and animate the whole model, and things kind of work as expected. We see our circle cam is doing nothing. We see our eccentric cam is moving pretty easily. Our hex cam is kind of bouncing up and down, and our snail cam is kind of working as expected. All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I think that's going to be it, and we're going to go and call it done for this video. I am going to do is going to follow-up video on this and continue on looking at motion studies. And so just to open up something new for automatas and look at motion studies and how they work. But we'll save it for the next video. Okay, guys, if you have any questions, let me know, and I will see you in the next video.